Yep.
We'll get back.
That's also something that Earth 2 did when they were talking about moving from Riot.js to React.js. They literally put it like twice, like after like couple weeks to make it look like they did more than they actually did. I don't know. This is like such a scam kind of thing to do. Yo, what's up? So I haven't done any kind of review for Dreamworld at all because honestly, pretty much everything that could be said about it has already been said by like Callum Upton, Kira TV, or Josh Strive Hayes. So there's not really much for me to go over, but recently Callum Upton did release a video talking about Dreamworld entering the NFT market, and I haven't seen it yet, but I thought it'd be good to go over this because I talk about Earth 2, which is attempting to enter the NFT market, it seems, or the crypto market in some way. And so I feel like breaking this down, it makes a lot of sense for the kind of videos I do and the kind of stuff I talk about. So let's go ahead and go through his video and break it down a little bit and talk about some of the things that he brings up.
As with every addiction, sometimes it's good to take a week off. But don't worry, we are back this week with a double dose of liquid Dreamworld. So let's jump into last week's updates before we get to this week. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. If there was ever any doubt that these guys are completely incapable of doing anything, well, those doubts are going to be cast aside today, because since their two developers have left them, they have done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so if you haven't caught up to date on the Dreamworld stuff, basically they started out as a Kickstarter, pretty much a scam, wanted to get a bunch of money and leave, but because now they have so many eyes on them, they felt like they needed to do something, and they got called out by a lot of people on the internet for a lot of the shady stuff they did. So they created a game. It was horrible. It was one of the worst things ever. They hired some actual developers to fix a lot of their game, which they did, which is what he's talking about now. And then now they have left because they did what they were paid to do and they left. So it's again the two founders who are working on this who didn't really do anything. They had so many problems at the start who are now continuing these updates, which are basically all BS and stuff. But that's what he's talking about here is the developers who were working on it and then left, the actual skilled ones. So that's where we're at.
So let's dive in. Alpha Development Pass purchase up on the website, with a link to their own website. Although I will forgive them for waiting this long, because this is probably the first time in a week that anyone has actually tried to purchase Dreamworld and inform them that the link doesn't work. Armor now has durability.
Yeah, so they so they had their game on this itch.io website where you could basically buy some indie games and stuff like that. And they had their game taken off of there for whatever reason, whether it's because there's so many complaints or so many refunds, whatever. And so now you have to buy the game on their website.
Now, this is something that absolutely should have been in from day one, considering everything else already has durability. So, in case you're not aware, this was just a complete Control-C, Control-V of the existing code from weapons. No work done. They just copy pasted.
Yeah, so that's another thing. This is the same thing that happens with Earth 2 is they'll put an update on their website and they'll be like, "Hey, we made filtering of jewels, do this now." But it's really just like, "Okay, so you fixed like one line of code or something." It's not really an update. It's barely anything. Like it doesn't mean anything. So the same thing with this. There's no durability on armor, but there is on weapons. Okay, they just move the durability code to the armor. It's not that hard.
The work that the other devs did for them. UI aesthetic improvements. This and the last update for this week are in fact the same thing.
Yep.
We'll get back.
That's also something that Earth 2 did when they were talking about moving from Riot.js to React.js. They literally put it like twice, like after like couple weeks to make it look like they did more than they actually did. I don't know. This is like such a scam kind of thing to do. Like if a company does that, they put their updates like that, maybe hoping you don't notice or wording it a little differently so people who aren't technically knowledgeable just glance over it or whatever. Like that should just raise red flags to you.
Back to that. Right, this one's truly mind-boggling. Spirit Lantern's defenses buffed. For those of you that don't remember, these are the lanterns that they spent 4 weeks trying to fix after it was first implemented. This is an item that when you place it down, a big sphere appears around it, and everything inside that you have built is now invincible. It's protected from other players. So it's very strange that in this week, they have posted that Spirit Lantern defenses are buffed. Everything inside them is already indestructible. How do you make a buff to something that's indestructible? And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the fluff of this week.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where they say, oh, we buffed Spirit Lanterns to make it look like they did more, but they really didn't do anything at all to it. They didn't change it at all. That's what the thing is. Like, it's literally pretty much the same as they always do. Again, this should raise red flags for anybody.
Terraforming bug fix. Every time
I also hate reading these things where it says terraforming bug fix. Which bug was fixed? How was it fixed? What did it do? Like, how is that going to change the gameplay? I wish that these bad, scammy developers would actually... Well, of course they're not going to because they're scammy, but if a good developer needs to put that kind of stuff in their patch notes.
I see that there's a bug that's been fixed, I always do a Control F and I look through all of their Discord to see if anyone has even reported a bug of any sort. And it just seems like there's never anything. There's never anything truly broken.
Well, but what he's insinuating here is the same thing as before, where there was no bug, they just said they fixed it, so it looked like they did more, of course.
Because we get on to next week's update. Item rarity added. Now, they didn't actually add any rarity to items. They have just added a coloured tag that says...
Oh my god. So what item rarity means is that some items are better than others, so they have a lower drop chance than other items, so that when you get them it feels better and they're stronger, so less people should have them. But what apparently they did is they just changed the color of different items. That's not adding item rarity. That's not changing the drop rate or anything like that. Doesn't mean anything.
What the rarity is, like epic, legendary, common. They've just added a tag to items, so I mean, cool, I guess. There was never really any reason for this because there was no rarity to anything in the game. As to sword swing speed, people have...
That's not really an update. You just change the time on the sword swing. Like, you literally just change a number. So
literally being asking for this.
Like, if you're talking about like a balance update, you might want to put that in there. But like, this should just be like major things that they're adding to the game at this point since it's alpha. Like that, or that could be like a footnote or something. Like, no one cares about that. Like, you could consolidate that with a bunch of other updates if you're saying like combat improvements, and then you just put a bunch in there at the bottom. But that's not what they did. They just said, oh, we made the sword swing faster. Who cares?
The day they added swords about a month and a half ago. Again, this is changing a single integer value.
Yeah.
In addition to the above, which would you prefer? Professions.
Now, how are they going to build an entire profession system in a month? What?
You remember the last time they polled an update? One of their options was, would you like profession specializations? Do you not think it would have been a good idea to poll the addition of professions before profession specializations?
True.
You kind of need professions to be able to specialize in them. Mounts. Oh my god, yes, please.
That would be way easier to implement than professions, so okay.
Please. Or farming.
Which should be a profession.
Last time I checked, farming was a profession.
Yeah.
But never mind.
Whatever.
And of course, there have been talks this week stirring in the Dreamworld Discord. This week, the focus has been NFTs.
No.
I just can't escape them.
No.
I cannot escape NFTs. Somebody asked if they'd be able to add their NFT properties to the game as items. Zach responded, oh, we're super intrigued by the potential of NFTs. No plans yet, but would love perspectives on the way you think we could best implement them. Oh,
what?
Jesus.
Just gonna
you can't
have someone else do it?
You're not going to be able to do it. That's the top and bottom of it. And then the same person was asking about cryptocurrency immediately after. And to that, Zach responded with, aha, we've definitely thought about Dreamcoin. By the way, I'm going to copyright that because I made the joke about Dreamcoin about 6 episodes ago. Guys, before we continue, a quick word from our sponsor. It's Dreamcoin. Crypto and NFTs are definitely things we could build into, but we've got a lot of other aspects we need.
Bro, no, see, the problem is if they like that NFTs, making NFTs in crypto would be probably too complicated for them to even implement at this point, or like bringing in NFTs from somewhere else and then being able to know what that is and put that in the game is too much for these people to be able to do.
We need to develop out first.
Okay, well, that's pretty much it. There wasn't really much to talk about, I guess. I thought it'd be more into the crypto NFT stuff, but they did go over some of those things, and we got to talk about them a little bit. If you do want more Dreamworld stuff, let me know in a comment or something. But normally, it's already really mostly covered by Callum anyway, so there's not really much in that space for me to do. If there are videos of people kind of defending Dreamworld or something, I will go over those and kind of criticize some of the points and stuff like that. I find that pretty interesting. But if you enjoyed the video, please like and consider subscribing. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.